Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Shows Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about former NFL player Terrell Davis being publicly embarrassed when he was removed from a United Airlines airplane for simply asking for ice for one of his sons. And also, I want to talk a little bit more about reportedly Nancy Pelosi asking President Biden to step out of the race just 3.5 months before we would vote for our next president. I want to give my opinion on it. Now, before we get into these stories, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. Then YouTube will recommend this video to more people who do enjoy discussing more serious issues, social issues that affect us as Black people, how we are viewed and treated in society, and also people who want to get some context on the upcoming presidential election. Also, if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Shows Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you. The majority of my content is inspired by the reality TV show Love and Marriage Huntsville and its biggest star, the lovely Melody Cherie. But I also like to make non-LAMH content, such as this video right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start with former NFL player Terrell Davis. This is coming from Good Morning America. I'm going to play his interview and I will come back with my commentary. Of course, the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic so that you all do not experience an echo, and then I'll come back with my commentary. Thank you, and please hit the like button.
Famer Terrell Davis, who was handcuffed, removed from a United Airlines flight after he says he tapped a flight attendant's arm to ask for ice. Davis was a star running back for 7 seasons, winning 2 consecutive Super Bowls with the Denver Broncos. He said the incident, which happened in front of his wife, Tamiko, and children, has left him humiliated, powerless, and angry. He and his wife, Tamiko, join us live right now here in the studio. Thank you both.
No, thank you for having us here.
I really appreciate this.
We'd much rather not be here.
I know.
Talking about this under these circumstances, but it's necessary, right? We have to come here. Our kids are in California on vacation, and we were enjoying that, and they're wondering why mom and dad are not there with them now.
But you want to be the voice for the voiceless. Yeah. So let's take us, for people who are not familiar with the story. You're on a flight.
Yeah.
Beverage service starts.
Yeah.
Tell us what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's an ordinary flight. They have the beverage service that starts, and I'm in row 11. And I'm in the aisle. My oldest son is right next to me in the middle seat. My youngest son is in the window seat. My wife is across the aisle, and my wife and daughter across the aisle in one row back. And so it's a typical flight, nothing out of the ordinary. Beverage service starts, and the gentleman pulls up, and I'm reading a magazine. My kids are playing with their iPads. So I heard him ask, like, what do you want, like beverage? What do you want? And they were busy playing with the iPad, so they didn't respond. And I remember the tone got a little bit more aggressive. And I was like, man, that was kind of rude for him to ask my kids like that. So they got startled. They ordered their drinks. And I remember this, he puts the drinks down on the tray, but with force. Like he just kind of slams them down. They say, thank you. He doesn't say anything. So I was like, all right, whatever. So he asked me my order. I give him my order. Again, kind of slams the drink down. And again, I'm thinking, well, what is going on with this guy? But whatever. As he gives me my drink, he starts to move the cart. And my son says, excuse me, might I have some ice? And he obviously didn't hear my son ask for ice. So he moved the cart probably past my seat. And so my hand was up like, excuse me. And then I finally said, excuse me, can I get some ice? I just tapped him on the shoulder. He swings his arm back and said, don't hit me. And I'm like, dude, I didn't hit you. And then he rushes up to the front of the plane, leaves the cart right there. And the gentleman in front of me turns around and says, I saw everything. I saw that. Like why did you didn't hit him? I'm like, of course I didn't hit him. So as I'm sitting there on the plane, it was bizarre because he's up there for a couple of minutes. And again, I was like, whatever. So I started reading the magazine.
So you don't think anything of it?
Nothing of it. Yeah. He comes back. He puts the cup of ice on my son's tray. He then takes the cart and takes it back up to, to the first class. And about 3 minutes later, another flight attendant takes over. She brings the cart down, starts servicing the area, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. But then
I don't see him for the rest of the flight.
You don't see him for the rest of
the flight.
But what did you see when you landed? What did you hear and see once the plane had
that's
landed?
a different story there. I mean, when we landed, they told everybody to remain in their seats because for whatever reason. And I thought it was a medical emergency. I fly a lot, so I've seen that before, where they say, stay in your seat, someone they need to tend to. And so I've seen that before. So again, I'm just reading a magazine, and 4 or 5 minutes pass, and then my head is down, and I can hear like the walkie-talkies. I hear a lot of the gear and wrestling of like you can hear when they come on, and everybody you can kind of hear like the awls, or like you can hear people the reactions to them coming on.
Yeah. When you say they coming on, who's coming on? The FBI.
FBI. Big FBI letters on the jackets.
Big as daylight. Can't miss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
FBI. I believe it was Orange County Sheriff Department. Guys with green. I didn't know who they were at the time, but you can tell it was
law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Without without explaining to me why they were doing it. They walk up to me, and the guy he whispers in my ear. He says, "Don't fight it," and he puts cuffs on me
while
I'm sitting down.
With everybody still on the plane.
Everybody's on the plane.
He never introduced, acknowledged or confirmed that it was Terrell.
Or say, hey, here's why. Here's what happened.
We're doing this, or
nothing.
Can I ask what happened? He just walked straight up to him and placed hands.
And what was it like for you to to see your husband in handcuffs?
I thought it was a joke, because what else could it be? And I saw the agents come on. So of course it caught my attention like everyone else. And they just walked straight up to Terrell and just played. And so I jumped out of my seat and I said, wait a minute, like what's going on? And I hopped over the woman next to me, and I was kind of like, to Terrell, are you joking? Like, is this a practical, is this a prank? Like, and he just said quietly, no, it's not. And I'm looking at my sons, who are sitting right next to him, watching their dad being handcuffed. And what could we do? And I'm asking them, what is going on? Like, why are you doing this? Why? And they pick him, have him stand up and pull him out. So I go after him, and he's telling me to stop. And then I'm standing there. The kids are still sitting in their seat. Everyone's staring at us.
It was just.
And the children are ages 9 to 13.
We have 13. Our sons are 13 and 11. Our daughter is 9. Mm-hmm. No one helped me. Yeah. No, they came back. They asked for a jacket to drape over Terrell's wrist. I said, "Can we get off the plane?" So I yelled to the kids, "Let's go!" I grabbed Terrell's bag out of the overhead. Where do we go? Like, what do we do? I want to go with him. No one. I mean, we were just left to fend for ourselves on a flight with everyone staring at us.
And United said this. They said, we removed the flight attendant from duty while they closely look into this matter and are reviewing their policies around incidents like this. They also say they have reached out to apologize. Have they? And what do you want to see, both of you want to see happen here?
Well, number one, they have not reached out to me and apologized. They reached out to my attorney, but I have not heard from them directly. And so that to me is a problem. I want them to take more accountability.
The apology was
it's pretty generic.
To the media. Yeah, we've not had any communication from them directly.
What is your reason for going public with this?
Well, a number of reasons. Number one, I mean, to affect change. I mean, if I don't speak on this, lots of people, as a matter of fact, contacted me after this, and they're sending me text messages saying that the same thing happened to them. And I can't sit there and knowing what happened to me and how I felt demoralized. I felt embarrassed, humiliated. I felt like my dignity was stripped from me right in front of my children and my family. Mm. And I want United to be held accountable. Got to be held accountable for this.
Well, I know that you've had some tough conversations with your 3 children, and I hope that they're doing well, and appreciate your willingness to come forward and to speak for the reasons that you said. And please let us know going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
You all right, Tamiko?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Thank you both so very much.
You.
All right.
I apologize. I forgot to unmute myself, but all I said was you all saw that report. It was very annoying, very offensive, definitely makes you angry. And I wanted to share that with all of you on my channel. So, of course, I took some notes. Now, some people, especially from the mainstream community, they may say, well, you can't really say that the flight attendant was being racist. He could have just been unprofessional, having a bad day. You know, we've all experienced crappy customer service. If you took race out of it, he was still extremely wrong. Mr. Davis said that he picked up on the man's negative energy. You know, his tone was very aggressive with the little kids. He seemed impatient. He was slamming their drink orders down, you know, so he was already pretty crabby, right? From a customer service standpoint, I do feel like more people, they need to disconnect whatever is on their mind, whatever they're dealing with in their personal lives from their job. Once they report to work and they are serving the public, they have to be able to disconnect with what they have going on personally to meet the needs of others. Now, this flight attendant, he may have had a problem with serving Black people. This is not the first time that we've heard about, particularly United Airlines allegedly having issues with Black passengers. There is a group of Black men who are suing the airline right now because they were like randomly targeted allegedly to be removed from a plane, to not be allowed to fly. I remember seeing that story about a month ago. And so I'm going to look for that story and I can make a separate video about it for sure. Now, that's a huge problem if he has a problem with serving Black people or people of color. I feel like ever since the 45th president, you know, people are being very open and outward with their true feelings about people who are different from them. I feel like in years past, they kept it repressed. Perhaps it was something that they just discussed in the privacy of their own homes, but now they are very comfortable with mistreating anyone who looks different from them, because their leader is so comfortable with being so divisive and unprofessional, especially on his social media. As a leader, when he was president, you set the tone. So he literally set the tone for divisiveness and ignorance in this country, in my opinion. And I feel like this is what we are starting to face more and more, unfortunately. Now, what I did take note of is that United Airlines, they definitely have not outright fired the flight attendant. They said that he has been removed from duty while the matter is being investigated. So I hope that Mr. Terrell Davis has the contact information for the witnesses that were sitting near him on the plane, or I hope that those witnesses step forward and do the right thing and reach out to United Airlines and say, I witnessed that man being abrasive and aggressive with his children and saying, you hit me, when he tapped him to ask for some ice for his son, because it seemed like he was ignoring the son. Now, some people from mainstream culture may argue, well, he did not have to tap him. I don't think that that was very unreasonable or a violation of boundaries. According to Mr. Terrell Davis, he didn't shove him, he didn't push him, he did not curse him out. He tapped him to get his attention. And then the man responded in a false way, saying, don't hit me. Well, I did not hit you. And some people, I was watching The Indisputable with Dr. Richie. If you prefer a very liberal news outlet, a very liberal political news outlet, you can check out The Indisputable with Dr. Richie. He falls under the Young Turks umbrella. He was saying that really, Terrell Davis should look at the flight attendant filing a false police report for saying, don't hit me, and then he contacted the authorities. I would go on further to say, I don't even know if you could say that was like a false report, but definitely Mr. Terrell Davis, his attorney should focus on the fact that law enforcement did not say to him why they were arresting him. They just said, don't fight it. And the fact that they only said that, my first thought was they obviously recognized who he was. And so they figured they were doing him a favor by saying, don't fight it. And just from watching him talk to Robin Roberts on Good Morning America, Terrell Davis seems very self-controlled, very calm-natured. So I don't think he was going to fight anyway. And I think that that definitely worked to his favor. I'm sorry that his kids had to witness him getting arrested. They are already learning at a very young age that you can be professional and calm-mannered and reasonable and still get mistreated in a very aggressive and outlandish way. And definitely being a young Black man, that's what his sons are learning at a very young age already, unfortunately. But I hope that Mr. Terrell Davis is very aggressive with this legally. I would file a lawsuit for sure. I take it he definitely would not need the money. They were going to a vacation in California, but I would imagine that he definitely wants to teach United Airlines a lesson. You have to get some control over your employees. If that flight attendant has a problem with serving Black people or was having a bad day and he's being aggressive with kids and slamming down drink orders, then he perhaps should look at another job where he does not have to serve the public. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare to talk about President Biden and Nancy Pelosi. So I'm going to share my screen again. Just give me one moment here. Please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. So this is coming from CNN. And I decided to report on this story because I made a joke on my community tab. It was a picture of a boat with a bunch of Black people, and I was saying, when are we leaving? And so I wanted to get into this story about reportedly some politicians have been reaching out to President Biden, urging him to drop out of the race. I think that that would be a huge mistake. I'm going to talk about my reasons why after I play this news report. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, and then I will come back with my commentary. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Okay, it is buffering, obviously. What I do want to say while the video is queuing up, I had it paused, obviously, for
Oh, hey
several
there.
minutes.
Here's how I decked out my dorm with Amazon for less. The thing I'm the most proud of, little food corner right here. We got a coffee maker. The air fryer's great, but don't plug it in when the RA's around. The fridge might be mini, but the possibilities are not mini. Here's all my laundry stuff. This is my iron, and it's great for
that he can, in fact, win. At one point, we're told that Pelosi asked Mike Donnellan, the president's senior advisor, to join the call to talk over all of the data. Now, none of our sources would
Okay, I apologize, you all, for the video. Again, I had it queued up and paused for several minutes, and I think that just sent it into a frenzy. And it looks like it's playing again, but it's not playing it from the beginning for whatever reason. So I'm gonna try and see if I can get it to go back again. It's totally ignoring when I tried to cue it up from the beginning. But basically, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, it's being reported that she has reached out to President Biden, saying that polls show that polls show that Biden will not be able to beat Trump in the upcoming election. And allegedly, when she shared this with Biden, he became defensive and said that he has seen polls that shows that he can beat him. There's also been reports this week on CNN that he's become more open to possibly dropping out. And then some people reported saying that they heard that a speech could come this weekend. I disagree with it only because we're just about 3.5 months out before we would vote in the next presidential election. I think that it looks very disorganized and like you're winging it very last minute. I'm not saying that Kamala Harris could not serve this country as president, but certainly it would be even unfair to her to suddenly start running for the presidential seat when she's been the vice president for nearly 4 years and she has not had any time to prepare, what she would say her political stances are. It just feels like it's definitely unfair to her. So I want to go ahead. I can stop sharing now. So let me do that. And definitely, I will post the link to that story so that you all can see it for yourself. It was about just a little over a minute, and it's just reports on Nancy Pelosi speaking with Biden about the polls and him becoming defensive. So I think that it would look very, very disorganized for the Democratic Party. It would be a disservice to Kamala Harris and a disservice to everyone who votes Democratic who does not want to see Trump reelected if they just shove President Biden out and, throw Kamala Harris in there as president. Right now, the Democratic Party looks fractured because so many people feel like Biden can't beat Trump and he's not going to be able to be reelected based off of one debate. Now, I watched the debate. Yeah, his performance wasn't stellar, President Biden. I felt like he was talking really low. His volume was low. But if you were listening, he was shading Trump left and right. And he talked about, allegedly Trump an indiscretion while his wife was pregnant. And, he was definitely, getting his digs in. He was saying lots of good things. It was just the presentation came off a little weaker. But I'm not going to totally throw this man to the side based off of one performance. And also, he will always remain more professional than the former President Trump was. Former President Trump, he used his power to create divisiveness, and he totally empowered people to act with a lack of self-control. And it's to the point where it can affect everyone on the job. I remember experiencing people during his first presidency, 2016, 2017. People would say all sorts of ridiculous things on the job, trying to provoke a negative response out of me. You may have experienced similar things as well as people of color. And I just feel like I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to experience that, especially the insurrection of January 6, 2021. That is totally unacceptable. And his supporters have tried to compare the insurrection on January 6 to Black Lives Matter protesters who hit the streets after Mr. George Floyd was unalived by police. The two situations are totally different. One was met with purpose, and the other event was a bunch of adults, in my opinion, acting out in a violent, physical way because their person that they voted for was not elected, did not win the election. So I don't want to go back to that pandemonium and foolishness again for another 4 years. And I feel like the Democratic Party, they should not turn their backs on Biden based off of one debate. It's one debate. It's not definitive of how he would carry himself. That is my opinion. So I wanted to share that with you all. I will definitely remember to post the link to the CNN video so that you all can check it out for yourselves. Thank you for watching this video. I know that it's more serious. I know that it is not based in reality TV. I know that it is not based in Love and Marriage Huntsville. So please hit the like button on this video. It is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Shows, Style, and Spirit if you have not already done so. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.